What's happening, everyone? Welcome back to G-Ball Vision. Today, we have an unboxing to dig into coming in from Shieldon. Before we get started, make sure you are subscribed to the channel. I release new knife and EDC content every single day. Hit that thumbs up button. That helps push these videos out there to more people. And let everyone know what you're carrying in your pockets today down in the comments. Love seeing what you guys have in the pocket for the day. Thank you to Shieldon for sending this in for us to take a look at. This is a knife that I've never handled before. We just got in a string of different Shieldons, from the Scythe to the Hierophant, and now this is going to be called the Shieldon Viper. And this is a very interesting knife. I have some details on this knife that you might find very interesting as well. So this is called the Viper, and we are going to be looking at a 154 cm blade steel on this drop point recurved blade here. Nice sharpening choil, and it's meant, this was an original fixed blade design knife turned into a folder. So that's a little interesting tidbit about this knife. It was actually designed as a fixed blade and was created into a fixed blade and then taken from that and made into a folder by Shieldon. So a little bit of history on this knife. It is perfectly centered up. Now we are going to be looking at flipper only for deployment. I don't know if we can get in. Oh yeah, all day long you'll be able to get in there for a thumb flick. There's a nice, because of that saber-ish grind, that flat there, you'll have a nice spot to flick that thing out with the thumb. We're looking at G10 here, and it has a nice tangerine look with a texture finish to it. Looks great. And then we have a completely sterile show side here, with the exception of the steel marking, that is good to go. We have their little emblem there on the pivot. Looks great. We have good access to that liner there and some jimping on the liner. As far as lockup goes, yeah, we're looking at a pretty healthy lockup there, about 50% or so. So some people right away will discount. If you've been around a while, you'll learn some people do not like recurved blades. Now, where they are pain to sharpen, they kind of make up for in their performance. You know, in my opinion, a recurved blade like this, and it's a slight recurve. I think the designer made it like 47 degrees or something, I thought I read, and felt like that was kind of the perfect spot to be in with a recurve. Now this knife will carry very deep in the pocket. We have that steel deep carry clip there, and that will cover you all the way up to the butt end. Good retention there on that clip. Now we are going to be looking at right hand carry only. That pocket clip is recessed along with the screws and maintains that nice deep profile there. It has a very interesting aesthetic to it. It really widens out here towards the middle and then kind of thins out in tallness, or shortens out as it goes to both ends of the knife. So it has a pretty cool aesthetic to it. Now, you will be able to choke up behind that edge beyond the flipper tab because of the way that is designed in there. Now, you're going to want to be ultimately careful because you do have that corner there, and if you run into that, you could end up cutting yourself. But for like a lighter duty task, I could definitely see putting like a fingertip there or something if you need a little bit more control over what you're doing. And this is going to be, I think, over our full size mark. And yeah, we are looking at, let's see here. Yeah, we're like 8¼ strong, more like 5/16. And then we're coming down at 3.3 for our total edge there, and then total blade length is going to be, what did I see, 3.5. So definitely in that full size classification. The really cool thing about this knife is, now I thought maybe it was a typo or something like that, and I'll have to actually clarify with Shieldon, but the finish on this blade is a DLC finish. And not only is it written once in the info sheet for this knife, but it's actually noted like 3 or 4 different times that it's a DLC. And they go through at the bottom, Shieldon does on their Amazon page for this knife, they go through and actually show you that it's a diamond light coating and what the process is. So very interesting if that is a true DLC finish on that blade. And I can't tell you yes or no. It doesn't look like a standard like PVD coating, those real bright, shiny PVD coatings that you get. So I can say that it's not that, but interesting to note something that you could possibly be getting a 154 cm DLC'd finish coming in under $60. This knife, I think, retails for like 70, but is often found under 60, like 55 to 60 bucks. And even if that's just a basic nitride coating or what have you, 154 cm is typically not going to be found. Now, more often these days, we're starting to see the price on 154 drop on knives that are on a huge sale. But up until very recently, you could not get a knife under like 80 bucks, 90 bucks in 154 cm. Kaiser was one of the first companies to start really spitting out some knives in 154. I think Shieldon is also kind of one of them early trendsetters when it comes to putting out 154 cm on a more budget-ended knife. So one thing we can take a look at is this will be a nice pokey blade for sure. Got that nice piercy tip. That belly will be great at various tasks as well. And that's one thing that, like, say you're someone who breaks down a ton of cardboard or something like that. A recurved edge like this, it's a semi-recurve. It's not anything insane. I think a rod would be good for something like this and make kind of quick work, especially if this is more of a user for you. But one thing a recurve like that is going to do is keep material trapped in that recurve before that belly starts and really help you to make longer cuts a little bit easier. But this has a nice edge on it. We'll quit messing with this. But yeah, it has a nice edge. The last two Shieldons that we've checked out came with screaming sharp edges. So that's another thing that they do really well there at Shieldon, is when that knife gets in that box, it has a solid edge on it. Now, the detent, it feels like it's actually getting better as we've kind of flicked it open and closed it. This seems like the action is just breaking in, period. The closing action is starting to get smoother. I can tell it might need a little bit of lubricant because it's nice and smooth all the way through. But I can feel like it might need a drop or two of oil, which is just fine. I'd rather the knife come that way than have a ton of oil all over the place. Now, like I said, I will link this down in the description of this video. And I will link a couple of the other Shieldons that we have had in on the channel that I'm really high on as well. Shieldon's one of them sleeper companies that is putting out one hell of a value. And it's something I honestly overlooked for quite a while for some reason. And, you know, I can fit a couple companies into this category, and I'm sure many of you as well. You know, we all do it, I think, but overlook certain companies. Like, I used to overlook Off-Grid Knives. I used to overlook Real Steel. I've overlooked Shieldon. And come to find out, those are three really great companies making some awesome knives. So, you know, it's that thing where you don't know until you try it out, right? And I'm glad I have with all three companies. Very, very solid. Those are just three for instances, and I'm sure I've done it with others as well. But the basic idea is if you see a design from a reputable company, I wouldn't have going and checking on it and watching some videos on it is that's a definite good idea. But don't have any fear about, picking it up, especially if it's going to be on like Amazon, right? You can try this knife out or whatever knife it is. And if you ultimately get it and don't like it, well, if it's in a reasonable time, you can trade it back in and get a different knife, right? So that makes things easy on the side of Amazon. If you want to try a knife out you think you might like, it's a win-win situation. You can try it out, and if it don't work out for you, send it back. If it does work out, well, then you got yourself a knife you like then. One thing we need to check on is that lock going to hold up? We do have a coated liner and a coated blade. That's one thing I always like to point out because that can give or provide issues. We won't get the spine whacker out right now because I think I broke a bone in my foot and I'm not walking over to get it because it's throbbing. Seems to be very good. No movement there, no sticking after the fact, no movement up or down or side to side. Very solid. I really like what I've been seeing from Shieldon. They're not afraid to do a little bit different designs from different designers, which is one thing I really like. Companies that are willing to step outside the box a little bit and do something a little bit different. I really like that from Shieldon. You'll have to let me know what you think of the Shieldon Viper here, and let me know if you have an opinion on Shieldon as a knife company. I love hearing from you guys either which way. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. I always appreciate that, everyone. It really helps push these videos out there to more people. If you're new here, I release knife and EDC content every single day. Make sure you are subscribed. Hit that bell. That way you can be notified anytime we release a new video. I'll put up a couple of new videos that just released. Go check one of them out. Have yourself an awesome day. Thank you all again for watching. I will catch you on the next one.